Among EMs, I see the returns of Asian sovereign and corporate debt have been among the highest. Do you think this sort of performance can continue as we head into 2021?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Asia is one of the bright spots when you think from a macroeconomic fundamental growth and then from a credit market perspective. The combination of the fundamentals, the valuations, the technical backdrop for Asia remains strong going into 2021. So we're still fairly positive. And we like the specific parts of the market like Asian high yield, Chinese credit, the private credit markets in Asia, where we think there is room to generate ample returns going into 2021.
Chinese credit, let's talk about that because a lot of fears about rising default rates in China. Is this something you're watching very closely?
Absolutely. You have to watch it very closely. The Chinese credit cycle will matter in the next decade, not just in the next few months. And I do think the default rates are a good part of the credit cycle as we look through it. We expect the defaults to continue going into 2021, but overall, looking at the risk-adjusted returns and the lack of what I would call any systemic risks on the defaults, we still like very much the onshore markets across, in fact, rates and the credit part of the spectrum.
On that, from your notes, I'm picking up, Neeraj, you're saying that the risk of defaults appears to be lower in China than in other areas, such as the US and the broader emerging markets. Do you think all this talk around rising default risks in China that we are just discussing is more noise than reality?
No, there is some element of reality here, Tanvi. The fact is that I do believe, given the strength of the economy, the focus is shifting towards the second phase of deleveraging in China, which is little more focused on SOEs, unlike the last phase, like 4 or 5 years back, which was much more financial sector focused. So I do expect to see defaults happening. I do think we will see continuation of that in 2021. So it's not just noise. There's some fact behind it. But then you have to look at overall what default rate expectation and the return net of that you would get. So I think that still positions the China onshore markets pretty well for the credit markets. And rates is a different part of obviously that equation. Rates, China is the most attractive large economy that you can see in the world today.
Neeraj, very quickly, greater ESG focus among some Asian companies. Could that lead to new opportunities when it comes to investing in fixed income here in Asia?
That will be a big theme. And I would say, if anything, it was very much in the play in the last couple of years. But during the time of COVID in the last 6 to 9 months, we have seen a real acceleration in that focus coming from the global investors. And this is a trend which is going to be very big going into the next year. So we have a very high level of focus on it. I do think it changes the way you think about investing. It's not just an add-on. It's an integral part of how you invest. And I think that's a shift that investors will have to get used to, and the corporates will obviously have to adapt to it.